Howdy, folks. I'm Cinder Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some fancy smancy Reddit. But also, I have a question for you folks. Amber and I were debating. We want to know, if you have a tower in your house like Cinderella does, a spire, one might even say,
A turret.
Or a turret, does that make you fancy? Does that make your family rich? Because my answer is yes.
That's also my answer. We weren't debating, we were discussing.
Amber is decidedly on the side of yes as well. Alright, folks, this rag to riches story is titled, Am I the Jerk for Not Eating Dinner My Girlfriend Cooked? It's not rag to riches.
No, it's just jerks to jerks.
I'm a 27-year-old female, and my girlfriend, a 29-year-old female, is a great home cook / baker. I eat everything that she makes with zero complaints. Today, she spent about 7 hours cooking braised beef cheek, while I worked for several hours. I've never eaten beef cheek before, and she warned me that it would look a little bit different and compared it to normal beef due to the muscle and all. When she started to pull it apart, it was gray on the inside and so off-putting. I gave her a very disinterested face and was less than enthused, and I can tell that she was a bit hurt I wasn't more excited about it. I tried some, and it tasted exactly like the meat that you put in shepherd's pie, and I said that she went through a lot of effort for little reward. After that, she got quiet and started eating a very small plate of beef cheek and the sides. I went back to working in the same room. By the time I looked up at her, she was picking up dinner into the leftover boxes and clearing the dishes. I got upset by her reaction and headed off to bed without eating. 20 minutes later, she comes into the bedroom with a burger and some croquettes that she cooked for me, but I told her that I wasn't hungry and that I was going to go to bed. When she heard that, she gave her dog my burger and has ignored me since. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think OP's being a bit of a jerk here. It's fine if you don't like food not to eat it, but you don't have to make snarky comments after someone has cooked for 7 hours. And then she went to the trouble to make something that OP presumably likes a lot, and OP's like, nah, I'm too busy sulking.
Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. OP, this isn't a healthy way to resolve conflict in a relationship. And certainly, if someone puts a lot of effort into something, it's understandable if you don't like it, and she already warned you that it might be a little bit off-putting in some respects, but it doesn't even feel like you gave it an honest try or honest attempt. It sounds like you kind of took a little tiny bite of it and was like, you know what, I'm gonna dance away from this one.
And I'm honestly not sure what she's so upset by, that the girlfriend she has continued eating her food and then put away leftovers. It's were you expecting her to drop everything and make you something new, or?
Oh my, I must rectify the situation immediately. What were you expecting out of it? She just cooked for 7 hours. She's probably tired. She's probably pretty exhausted. And I imagine she's disappointed. She wasn't even holding it against you until you sulked and were like, I don't want your burger now. That she spent even more time cooking and preparing. So it just seems like you've got an attitude problem that needs adjusting, OP. Adjust that attitude. Let me know what you folks think. Take care and good luck. And I hate this 77 says, wait. I want to be sure that I have this right. Your girlfriend spends 7 hours making something new. You make a face at her food, not a great start, but recoverable at this point. You already know that she's hurt, but instead of apologizing for hurting her feelings, you decide to dig in and make a point of insulting her food and choices. Now she's really hurt. Can't blame her. But instead of calling you out for being a jerk, she eats her meal and cleans up. Somehow, you perform the mental gymnastics of getting upset because of her pretty calm and normal reaction to being insulted and hurt by her loved one. You go into a sulking mode, some nice main character syndrome here, and leave without eating. Now, your girlfriend should leave you. Instead, she tries to make it up to you by cooking you a second meal. And this olive branch that you definitely do not deserve. And which you turned down? Honestly, what is wrong with you? Had you not hurt her enough? Are you trying to punish her for making something different? Yes, you're the jerk. I hope your girlfriend finds the confidence she needs to stop trying to cater to your manipulative behavior and find someone who treats her better. All right, folks, our second horse, which is a mouse story, is titled, Am I the Jerk for Telling My Student to Stop Bothering Me? I'm a 44-year-old teacher of math at an extremely unfunded high school that doesn't pay me enough for all the BS that I have to deal with. I am very burnt out and underpaid, but I still try my best to be a good influence and a helpful teacher to my students, even when they are acting insufferable or disengaged. Well, last week I was at my limit. I just had dealt with a group of students bringing illicit substances into my classroom, and I had 2 board meetings after school to attend. I was finishing up teaching my pre-calculus class, 8th period, when one of my students, a 16-year-old female, came up to me. I thought that she was going to actually ask relevant questions, like something from the notes or homework. Instead, she starts showing me a picture of her knitting, and somehow tangentially talking about how it relates to polar coordinates we were learning in class. I don't know what kind of connection that she was trying to make, but it was pretty far-fetched and nonsensical, to be quite honest. I tried to listen to her for 2 minutes, but she kept talking and talking, even past the bell ringing. She didn't even take my clear social cues of zipping up my bag and getting up. I was trying to signal to her that I needed to leave. After the frustrating day that I had, I finally snapped and I told her to stop bothering me because I didn't have time to hang around all day and listen to her.
I can't hang out here all day. I've got a life. I've got a date with a pretty lady named Clarinet.
She kind of scampered off back to her backpack and packed up to leave. Nowadays, I notice that she participates in class way less, so I think that I may have discouraged her accidentally. I was telling my husband the story, and he told me that I was being unnecessarily cruel to that student. However, I think that my student should have stopped talking for so long and respected my time better, especially after the awful day that I had. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, OP, you definitely were being a jerk there. Like, I understand you are having a tough day, but you can communicate in a lot better ways. You could have said, hey, student, this is really cool, but I have a meeting I have to get to. Could you tell me about this some other time? Like, just say something to validate the student and be like, oh yeah, that's really neat, but I have to go.
Yeah.
And like, I know you're upset that she didn't get your social cues, but not everyone gets social cues.
Maybe, just maybe, your student who's very, very interested in polar coordinates, math, and this knitting thing might not be like the best at social cues. Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah. Here's a student who is really actively interested in learning and is doing some really cool stuff. I've seen, I can't knit myself, but I know people who, in the math master's program I went through, one of our other students, like she did a lot of knitting that was tied into math in different ways, and I can't begin to tell you. But there are a lot of mathematical connections to knitting, and it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds exactly like polar coordinates that she was probably talking about, because you can translate some of those knitting patterns into polar coordinates. So just because of your ignorance doesn't mean that she needs to suffer. And again, there were all kinds of polite ways to handle this situation. And on top of that, how is she supposed to know you're having a bad day? You're the adult. You are the adult. OP. She is not. And you took this opportunity that could have been a teaching moment, a learning moment, and you squelched her passion.
So here's what you need to do, OP. You really need to write her a apology. Tell her, I was having a bad day. I am so sorry. You did not deserve that. I would love to hear about this at some other time, and maybe she probably won't feel safe talking to you again, but like, if she does, then from here on out, be a good person to her. Don't shut her down, because we need kids who are invested in math.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I know we may have been a little harsh in places here, and I understand that being a teacher is hard work, and I do commend you for being a teacher. And it's a lot of effort for a little bit of reward. And certainly I can understand why you would be frustrated, upset, and have a lot of complicated feelings. But again, you're hurting your own teaching by actively discouraging students from approaching you.
Right. Well, it sounds like the student wasn't really the problem. Like, it doesn't seem like she was the one bringing illicit substances into your classroom. So you're taking all your frustration and hurt about other things and then projecting onto her. And just the whole attitude you have toward her. She's excited for learning and you're like, oh, I can't believe this girl is trying to tell me about her learning she's doing.
Yeah. It's very sad. It's very sad. And I would love to hear about her knitting.
Mm-hmm.
So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Fuit Tui Ipsum says, "You're the jerk. You were not the jerk for wanting to set a boundary, but man, stop bothering me isn't a boundary setting. It's harsh, impolite, and lacking in self-control. What you meant to say was, listen, I have to be somewhere, and I've got far too much to do right now. But your knitting looks awesome. Keep up that good hobby. See you in class tomorrow. If you were on your last nerve, we all get it, but let's call the jerk when we see it." All right, folks. And our last pumpkin transforming into a carriage is titled, "Am I the jerk for buying a car for my stepson and not fully paying for my son's car? I'm a 43-year-old male, and I have two biological kids, a 17-year-old male and a 13-year-old female, and two stepkids, a 26-year-old female and a 16-year-old male. I share custody of my bio kids with my ex-wife. My stepdaughter has her own place, and my stepson lives with me and my wife. Their bio dad hasn't been involved for almost 15 years now. When I married my wife, her daughter just turned 16 and my wife didn't have a job at the time, so I offered to buy her, my stepdaughter, her first car. Originally, my wife was going to, but she had just lost her job and we were just starting to share finances. I told her that I'll give her the $5,000 to buy a car, and if she got a cheaper car, then the rest can go towards gas for the first few weeks or months. I did the same thing with my son when he turned 16, but he wanted a more expensive car, so he hasn't bought one yet and he's still saving up. Well, my stepson just turned 16 last week and I gave him some money for a car, $5,000. He chose a cheaper car and we'll also fix it up a bit together. So he already has a car now. My ex called me yesterday and she was furious, saying that if I have $5,000 for my stepson's car, I also have a couple of extra $1,000 towards our son's car. I told her, yes, I do, but this isn't about the money. It's about the kids having a car and also learning financial responsibility. She was not happy. My son texted me this morning saying that he's disappointed that I won't give him more money towards his new car. I told him that in a year since I gave him $5,000, he could either buy a cheaper car, and I offered to help him fix it up, or get a part-time job and earn some more money. He called me an unfair jerk. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, I don't think that OP is being the jerk. He has the same rule for all the kids, and honestly, that's the best way to handle it.
Are you adjusting for inflation? Because if you're not adjusting for inflation, I can see why he would be upset. I'm just kidding.
Well, if anything, I mean, he and the stepson, both of their cars about car money about the same time.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just kind of joking.
Well, technically, the stepdaughters may have been worth a little more because it was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. And that's, the thing is that you're trying to teach them responsibility. You're trying to teach them to be happy with what they have and to utilize the resources that they have. And if he is always expecting someone to come and bail him out, then that's not going to teach him responsibility that he needs to succeed in life. So I don't think that you're a jerk. I think you're being very fair and very equitable.
And very generous, too. Like, a lot of parents don't have $5,000 they can hand to their kid for a car.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't, I couldn't drive, but I also didn't get handed a car, when I turned 16.
I don't think many people do. I certainly didn't. But let me know if you folks got a car when you turned 16.
So, it sounds like the son needs a lesson in gratitude. Like, Yes, because your parents can afford something doesn't mean they have to like buy you everything your heart desires.
Exactly. Let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Useful World 1781 says, "Not the jerk, you're a good dad for teaching him responsibility. Your ex is teaching him entitlement. Your dad can afford it, so you deserve it. The world does not give handouts, and it's that very valuable lesson. Stand your ground. One thing is maybe you should adjust for inflation. Like, if your daughter bought a 3-year-old car with 30,000 miles 10 years ago for $5,000, look up the price and make and model for the same specs now and offer that price. Edit to add one word." I mean, I think that's not necessarily unreasonable, but since the other son has already gotten their car, it seems somewhat reasonable. It's difficult because inflation is pretty bad. And so that might actually be worth $7,500 now, given the inflation.
Yeah, I mean, so if OP wanted to give the two boys a little bit more for their cars, and the one who already has a car could put it toward gas or something, that would be a fair compromise.
Yeah, but all in all, I don't really think he's handling this unfairly.
No.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke that made her full of chagrin.
What do you call a duck that gets all A's?
Well, you call a duck who gets all A's Harold, because Harold is the duck who gets all A's. He's a good buddy of mine. Great study partner. If you can understand a lot of quacking. And if you like quackers. But, you know, that's just it. Like, that's his deal. He likes quackers. A lot of them. Like, our house is full of cracker crumbs. It's actually a problem.
Oh, wait, what?
Harold, he likes crackers a lot. He eats them constantly.
I haven't seen the Herald or the crackers. I'm starting to worry about you a little bit.
And you're just not very good at observing ducks, apparently.
Anyway, the answer, you call a duck that gets all A's a wise quacker.
A wise quacker. You know, I almost stumbled into that punchline. Maybe if I had started rambling a little more, I would have eventually gotten there. and I have make a mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for this Manic Monday special. Amber, tell me the moral of the story, but make it a fairy tale.
Once there was a family. There was a girl and two boys, and the dad decided that he would do something nice for the kids, so he got the daughter a car, and she was very happy. But when the middle son wanted a car, he really, wanted more money for his car. And the dad, wanting to be fair, still gave him the same amount of money. And then the youngest son was perfectly happy to get his money. So the middle son was still complaining because he thought he deserved more. And then a dragon came and took him away.
Oh, a dragon!
And put him in his tower until he could learn to appreciate having the $5,000 car.
I like it. That's a good moral. If you take something for granted, let's put it that way, then you will be swept away by a dragon and put in a tower. Moral of the story, clear moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I'm a 44-year-old female. That is not a word.